we soldiers know what the enemy did, but we're not limited to what we see. We're a prophetic people, so we understand that even though it looks like there's more that be with the enemy than there be with God, we understand there are chariots of fire all around us, and we understand what God is doing. Public victories, private victories. I can tell you right now, Michelle and Charlotte and Pastor Wilma and Andre, you already heard it. Who you are in private is actually far more important than who you are in public. Okay? We need to be people who have private victories. When you don't say that thing you just seriously wanted to say. Private victories. God will put you in a place where you have private victories, and He's going to get ready to actually isolate some of you. And I'm not saying that to be mean, but sometimes He needs you alone, which is very different than lonely. He wants some of you to come apart, to draw near to Him, so He can draw near to you, and He can show you what's really going on. Soldiers kill enemies, warriors execute justice. David was defined by who he let live, not just who he killed. Saul was all about how many he had killed. Soldiers fear men, warriors fear God. What does it mean to fear God? Well, it's not to be afraid of Him. It's to tremble at His name. It is to honor what He honors and not honor what dishonors Him. Even if it's popular to be profane. If God puts His word in your mouth, you do not want to be a polluted fountain and a pure fountain. It doesn't work. Separate yourself. Separate yourself. God is looking for a generation that's like Samuel. We will be vibrantly alive. But He can cause not one word that you speak to fall to the ground unfulfilled. And that is why we must know the language of the Word of God. Soldiers know what they are against. Warriors know what they are for. We need to be people who are known what they are for. Right now, sadly, in the Church of America, we are more known for what we are against than what we are for. We are against abortion, we are against same-sex marriage, we are against homosexuals. No, this is not the truth, that's just what they say about us. We need to be for life. We need to be for sacred unions called marriage. We need to be for people, not religion. We need to be for righteousness, not perversion. We need to be people who stand for, not against. And we've gotten that confused. And so I'm going to put you into place with some hero training by telling a ridiculously embarrassing story about myself. So I went to Australia, and I was speaking at Planet Shakers, and I think they were kind of like, hey, we've flown you all the way here, and we paid for an airline ticket, you're going to speak 355 times. And so basically they got you off the plane, they're like, hi, there's just like a pre-leaders, pre-meeting, and a leaders meeting, and then a lunch meeting, and then a pre-service meeting, and then a service, and then a post-service, and then I just have to be honest with you, by Sunday, I didn't even know who I was. I didn't believe in using sleep aids, now I do, but back then, I was just like, I don't even know. I actually cussed by accident. I was talking about giving God your guilt and shame, and I said Shilton gang. And Australians, if you give them a reason to cuss, they just drop the L. And they're like, God, we give you our, and they said the S word, and I was like, woo, woo. And they said, oh, Shilton gang must be some kind of American term. My husband knew about it before I knew about it. There was a text message, it had traveled from Melbourne to New Zealand, and my husband said, did you cuss when you prayed? I was like, I would never do that. He said, I heard you said the S-bomb. I'm like, I would never say the S-bomb. But when it played back, it didn't sound like I had said the S-bomb. So anyway, that's just how confused I was about what was happening and who I was. And after they had exhausted me, they put me by a fireplace, surrounded me with a bunch of sympathetic women. And one of these women who has become a dear friend of mine named Alex Seeley, said, I have been observing you all weekend. And I finally figured out who it is you remind me of. I started to say, please don't say Paula Abdul. Please don't say Paula Abdul. It's not an American Idol judge. She said, you remind me of the original Sarah Connor. I was like, wait, she was blonde. And she said, oh, no, it's not her hair. It's her buffness. Okay, well, you tell a woman in her 50s that she is buff, she will know it's a lie, and she will want to believe you. And so my heart began to beat a little faster, and I said, really? She get home with me, grabbed my third son, the Tough Mudder son, the genetic connection one, and I said, Alec, I need you to find me some pictures of Sarah Connor from Terminator 2. I haven't seen the movie because I'm a Christian. I need to see some pictures, and he said, why? And I said, Alec, people are saying I look like her. And he's like, Mom, you don't. I'm like, Alec, just find pictures. And so he did better than find a photo. He actually found a video montage for me, and it showed Sarah like riding a Ducati motorcycle that looked a lot like my Ninja. I'm like, okay, whoa. And then it showed Sarah like with a gun with one arm. I have a 16-point buck on the wall of my house that I dropped if my husband ever commits adultery. There were I shot a 16-point. Okay. It also had a scene of Sarah. She had taken her twin bed and some kind of sanatorium thing, and she put it up against the wall, and she was doing pull-ups on the underside of the bed. And I asked Alec, do you have any idea what's going on? He said, well, she is like getting strong because she needs to rescue her son. And I felt spiritually connected. Because I love women who understand that we use seasons of captivity to build strength. So I became crazy, and I did something I had never done before. I picked up the phone, and I called Gold's Gym. I said, I want that trainer that shaves his head. I am quite possibly 2 sessions away from Sarah Connor. I thought they were going to get. They said, well, ma'am, you're going to need to come in for an assessment. And pretty much at that point, I should have taken a deep breath and asked myself a couple questions. Like, how old was Sarah Connor in that movie? She was probably 25. How old